Next time you're wandering down Castle Street in Sheffield, maybe heading to the town centre, or just killing time, stop and look up. High up on the side of number 11, there's a face watching the whole city go by. He's been there since 1986. This isn't a painting that's going to peel or fade. It was built brick by brick. Paul Waplington put him there using 30,000 bricks. He didn't just grab any old bricks either. He used 18 different types of clay and 5 different mortars to get those skin tones and the shadows under his eyes exactly right. Every single brick is a piece of a massive jigsaw puzzle. The man is a tribute to the little Mesters. Now Mester is the old Sheffield way of saying master. These blokes were the backbone of the city. They weren't employees, they were self-employed craftsmen who worked in tiny workshops, often just in a shed, in the backyard or a rented room. They were specialists. One Mester might spend his whole life just forging blades. Another would do nothing but the grinding. And another would half them. That's putting the handles on. They were fiercely independent. If a big manufacturer wanted 1,000 knives, he didn't hire a factory. He went to 100 little Mesters that made Sheffield the cutlery capital of the world. From using a razor in Rotherham to a fork in New York. There was a massive chance it was made by a little Mester in a smoky Sheffield back alley. They're the reason made in Sheffield still means something today.
The Women of Steel statue was created by Martin Jennings. Right in the middle of town, you've got these two bronze women. They aren't in fancy dress, they're in their work boiler suits. The people of Sheffield actually paid for this statue, raising over £168,000 because they knew the history books had basically ignored these women for decades. When the war started and the men went away to fight, the steel didn't stop. Someone had to keep the fires going. Thousands of women, some barely out of school, walked out of their kitchens and into the most dangerous factories on earth. They were told it was man's work, but they proved everyone wrong. During the 1940 Blitz, Sheffield was a massive target for the German bombers because we were making everything from tank parts to the crankshafts for Spitfire engines. The women worked through the sirens, handling white-hot metal in the dark during the blackouts. They had a nickname for them, the Canary Girls. The chemicals they used in the munitions factories were so nasty, they actually turned the women's skin and hair a bright, sickly yellow. When the war ended, they weren't given medals. They were just given a note in their pay packet saying, "Thanks, but your time is up." It took until 2016 for them to finally get this spot in Barker's Pool.
The Teeming Statue was sculpted by Canadian artist Robin Bell between 1989 and 1990. Head down to Meadowhall and you'll find the Steel Men. It's a sculpture of three blokes pouring molten steel, a process called teeming. Most people walk past them today with their shopping bags, but these blokes are standing on the ground where the East Eckler Works used to be. 160-acre monster of a factory. The sculpture captures that exact second of physical strain. The man who ran this place, Robert Hadfield, was a local genius. He invented a metal that actually gets harder the more you hit it. It was perfect for army helmets and the railway tracks we still use today. Teeming was the most dangerous part of the day. The metal was sitting at 1500 degrees. If sweat hit that steel, it didn't just vanish, it flashed into steam and threw up molten metal back like shrapnel. In a real crew, you'd have a young lad skim the muck off the top. Men used to stuff wet rags in their mouths just to keep the scorching air from burning their lungs. Worked in boots that would smoulder from the heat of the floor. It's a different world now, but the foundations are the same. You know, we often talk about steel like it's just a cold hard metal, but in Sheffield, steel is really about the people. It's about the hands that held the tools and the hearts that kept going when things got tough. These statues aren't just blocks of metal or piles of brick. They're like family. They're our granddads, our nanans, and the neighbours who always looked out for each other. They remind us that no matter how much the city changes, that Sheffield spirit, that warmth, that strength, stays exactly the same. They built this city so we could enjoy it. And every time we walk past them, it's like they're saying, "We did this for you." They're the soul of the place, and as long as they're standing, the real Sheffield will never be lost. If you like this trip through our city's steel history, make sure you check out my other video about Iron Henry, the Partway Man.